Hello, Guy. You know that feeling when morning sunlight sneaks through the window and paints gold stripes across your floor? That's exactly how the day began for Benny the bunny. He blinked awake inside his cozy burrow, his whiskers twitching, his little nose sniffing the cool scent of fresh carrots waiting to be sold. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Benny was small, even for a bunny, with ears that bent slightly at the tips, like question marks that never quite stood straight. He lived in a little meadow just outside Cloverville, where the grass was as green as apple candy and the clouds looked like slow-moving marshmallows. This morning was special. His first time going to the village market all by himself. He had a basket full of bright orange carrots, each one washed, polished, and stacked like tiny golden swords of sunshine. His mama had kissed his forehead and said, "Remember, Benny, when you sell with kindness, your basket never really empties." He wasn't exactly sure what that meant, but he smiled anyway, mostly because her kisses always smelled like clover tea, with a hop, a skip, and one small stumble. Because bunnies are not built for grace, under excitement, Benny bounced down the dusty trail. Birds chirped from above, and he waved at Mrs. Blue Jay, who shouted, "Good luck, young bunny! Don't forget your change purse this time." He laughed nervously, because yes, last week he had traded 2 carrots for a pebble. He said it was a friendship deal. The pebble did not agree. When he arrived at the market, everything sparkled with life. The air smelled like honey and bread and a dozen friendly voices calling out prices. Benny found his usual spot near the old oak tree, laid down his basket, and took a deep breath. He wanted to be brave, to sell all his carrots, and maybe buy something small for Mama, a ribbon perhaps. But deep down, a whisper of doubt hopped around in his chest. He wasn't as loud or clever as the fox merchant, and not as tall as the giraffe who sold sugarcane. He was just Benny with a basket. Still, he smiled, adjusted his bow tie. Yes, it was slightly crooked, and said softly to himself, "Let's make Mama proud." Little did he know, this wasn't just going to be an ordinary market day. It would be the day he learned something far bigger than counting coins or smiling at customers. It would be the day honesty found its way into his tiny, twitching heart and made it glow. The market buzzed like a busy beehive, each stall bursting with colors and chatter. Benny watched a squirrel juggling walnuts, a raccoon polishing shiny apples, and a parrot squawking out special deals like, "Buy 2 bananas, get 1 peck for free." It all looked so easy, yet Benny's paws felt sticky with nervousness. He tugged at his crooked bow tie again and whispered, "Come on, Benny, you can do this." His ears perked up as his first customer, a tall, elegant deer, approached. "Good morning, little bunny," she said warmly, her voice soft as a song. "I'd like 3 of your sweetest carrots, please." Benny smiled wide and picked the biggest ones from his basket, their orange skin gleaming in the sunlight. He placed them carefully in her bag and said, "That'll be 3 acorns, please." The deer paid, thanked him, and trotted away gracefully. Benny's heart danced with pride. His very first sale. He wanted to shout it to the sky, but he kept it cool, mostly because a frog next door was already yelling about discounted flies. As the morning went on, Benny's basket grew lighter, his confidence stronger. But then, something strange happened. A sly-looking raccoon waddled over, his eyes glinting like polished stones. "Hey there, little bun," he said, smirking. "Those are some mighty fine carrots you've got. How much for 5? 5 acorns," Benny said proudly. 5 acorns? The raccoon laughed, shaking his head. That's way too high. I'll give you 2. Benny's nose twitched. That's not fair, he replied softly. They're worth 5. The raccoon said, leaning closer. What if I tell everyone your carrots are sour and no good? Then no one will buy them. Benny froze. His ears drooped, and his little paws trembled. He didn't want to lose customers. He wanted to make Mama proud. So, against his better judgment, he nodded. Okay, 2 acorns, he said quietly. The raccoon grinned, snatched the carrots, and swaggered off. For a moment, Benny tried to convince himself it was fine, that it didn't really matter. But as he looked down at his basket, something inside felt heavy. Heavier than all the carrots put together. It was a tiny pinch of guilt, sitting right in his heart like a stone. Then he remembered Mama's words. When you sell with kindness, your basket never really empties. But this didn't feel like kindness. It felt like losing a piece of himself. He sighed, poked at the dirt with his paw, and thought, maybe, just maybe, the truth was worth more than a few acorns after all. As the sun climbed higher, a soft breeze began to sweep through the marketplace, carrying the smell of sweet berries and fresh bread. The chatter of animals swirled around Benny, yet his thoughts were louder than the crowd. He couldn't stop thinking about the raccoon. Every time a coin clinked nearby, guilt tugged harder at his whiskers. He fiddled with his empty paw and muttered, "Why does being dishonest make my heart feel so noisy?" Then, clink! Something shiny dropped near his foot. Benny blinked. A golden coin lay glimmering on the dusty path, winking at him in the sunlight. He looked around quickly. The marketplace was alive with sound, but no one seemed to notice. The frog was still boasting about his freshest flies. The parrot was laughing at his own jokes, and even the deer had wandered off. Benny's ears twitched nervously. He bent down, scooped up the coin, and turned it in his paws. It was heavy, beautiful, probably enough to buy a whole basket of carrots. Maybe, he whispered, it's a sign. Maybe this is my lucky day. But deep down, he knew better. Mama always said, luck didn't come from what you found. It came from what you returned. Still, his little heart fluttered. He could take it home, and no one would ever know. No one except himself. He looked around again. Then he saw it. A small mole, fumbling through her pouch with frantic paws, her glasses slipping down her nose. Oh dear, she murmured. My payment coin. I had it just a moment ago. Benny's ears burned. The golden coin gleamed brighter in his paw, almost as if it were waiting for him to choose. The wind stirred again, whispering softly through the grass, and Benny swore it sounded like Mama's voice, saying, "Honesty always knows your name, Benny." He bit his lip. His heart thumped. And then, without another thought, he hopped over to the mole. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said gently, holding out the coin. "Did you drop this?" The mole looked up, blinking in surprise. "Oh, my stars! Yes, I thought I'd lost it forever," she cried. She took the coin with trembling paws and smiled. "You're such an honest little bunny. Thank you." Benny felt warmth bloom in his chest. The heavy guilt stone that had sat inside him all morning began to fade, replaced by something lighter, something that sparkled. As he hopped back to his stall, the breeze brushed his fur again, softer now, carrying a faint whisper that almost sounded like a sigh of approval. Benny smiled. He didn't know if the wind could talk, but he sure liked what it had to say. The day slowly melted into a warm afternoon glow, and the market began to quiet down. Benny's basket was nearly empty now, only a few carrots left, and his paws were tired but proud. He couldn't stop replaying the mole's grateful smile in his mind. It was like sunshine that had decided to stay in his chest. Just as he began to pack up, the mole returned, with the village mayor, a tall and wise old goat with a silver bell around his neck. "Are you the young bunny who found a gold coin?" the mayor asked, his voice kind but strong. Benny blinked, ears twitching nervously. Yes, sir. I just gave it back to the mole. It wasn't mine." The goat chuckled, a deep rumble like a drum. Honesty in the marketplace. Now that's something worth celebrating. He turned to the gathered animals, raising his bell. "Everyone, listen up. Today, Benny the Bunny reminded us all that the smallest paws can carry the biggest hearts." The animals clapped, hooted, and stomped their feet. Even the parrot squawked, "3 cheers for Benny," though he said it 3 times in a row because he liked the sound of his own voice. Benny blushed so hard, his fur looked like it had been dipped in strawberry juice. Then the mole stepped forward again. She placed something in Benny's paws, a new basket. It was beautifully woven, stronger and shinier than his old one, with a soft red ribbon tied around the handle. "This," she said softly, "is for your honesty. May it always carry more than just carrots. May it carry trust." Benny stared at the basket, speechless for once. The goat smiled and added, "When you're honest, Benny, life has a way of filling your basket with blessings you never asked for." That line hit Benny right in the heart. He didn't fully understand it yet, but it sounded like something important, like a secret only good hearts could learn. As he walked home later, the setting sun painted everything gold. The path shimmered between the tall grass, and Benny swung his new basket proudly. He realized something funny. His old basket had carried vegetables, but this new one carried stories, smiles, and a bit of magic too. And for once, Benny wasn't rushing to get home. He was listening to the world around him, the crickets tuning their evening song, the wind humming through the fields, and the steady rhythm of his own heart whispering, "You did the right thing." He smiled at the sky and said quietly, "Thanks, world. I think I get it now." The clouds drifted lazily, as if nodding back in approval. And if you listened close enough, you might have heard the wind answer with a soft, "Good job, little bunny." By the time Benny reached home, twilight had folded across the hills, painting the sky in sleepy shades of violet and rose. His mama was waiting by the door, her soft ears catching the last rays of sunlight. "Welcome home, my little seller," she said with a proud smile. "How did the market go today?" Benny placed the shiny new basket on the table, its red ribbon catching the flicker of their lantern light. "Well," he said slowly, "I sold almost all the carrots, but that's not the best part." He told her everything, the raccoon's bad advice, the lost coin, the whispering wind, and how he'd returned the money to the mole. Mama listened quietly, her eyes glowing with warmth. And when he finished, she didn't say a word at first. She just hugged him tight, so tight he could feel her heartbeat through his fur. Finally, she whispered, "Honesty doesn't just make others trust you, Benny. It helps you trust yourself. That's a kind of strength that never fades." Benny smiled against her shoulder. He hadn't realized until then how light he felt, as if he'd let go of a heavy stone he didn't even know he was carrying. After dinner, he placed the empty basket beside his bed, but as the moonlight slipped through the window, something strange happened. The basket began to glow softly, a gentle golden shimmer pulsing from its woven edges. It wasn't bright like a lantern or firefly glow. It was calm and warm, like a sigh of peace. Benny blinked in wonder. Maybe it was just the moonlight, or maybe, just maybe, it was something more. He climbed into bed, tucking his paws under his chin. Through the window, the stars winked at him, like little reminders of the choices that made hearts shine brighter. He thought about the market, the mole, the kind mayor, and how one small act of honesty had filled his world with so much good. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "I'll fill this basket again with carrots and kindness. As he drifted off, the glow from the basket softened to a faint heartbeat of gold. The house grew quiet, except for the gentle hum of night crickets. Benny's dreams came easily that evening. Dreams of laughter, sunlight, and the simple magic of doing what's right. Even when no one's watching, the wind rustled through the grass outside, as if tucking the world into bed. And somewhere, in the whisper between night and morning, a soft voice seemed to say, "Sleep well, honest bunny. The world is proud of you." Word count, 502. Wind down, 300 words. And now, as the story fades, like the last light behind the hills, you can let your mind settle too. The night outside is calm, maybe a little cool, and the world feels smaller, softer, safer. You can almost imagine Benny's glowing basket resting beside you, humming quietly, reminding you that honesty isn't a rule. It's a gift, a soft, invisible warmth that lives inside your chest, right next to your heartbeat. Each time you tell the truth, even in small moments, you add a little glow to that basket inside you. It doesn't flash or sparkle wildly. It simply stays warm, steady, and kind. That's the light that helps you sleep well and wake up proud. The kind of light that guides you through cloudy days and helps you find your way back home. So as you close your eyes, imagine Benny hopping through fields of silver moonlight, his basket glowing softly at his side. The wind is quiet now, and every sound in the world seems to whisper peace. You don't need to chase anything tonight. You've already found your calm. You've already filled your own basket with something good. Take a deep breath, let your shoulders drop, and smile just a little. Because the world, your world, is a little brighter whenever you choose honesty. Good night, little listener. Sleep softly, dream kindly, and may your basket always glow.